Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I am your host, Katie Fensky. And like every week, I am here to remind moms that everyone burns their first pancake. Today's guest is Brenda Ridgely. She is an author, a podcast host, and she is here to talk to us a little bit about friendship and friendship circles in the midst of motherhood. I want to start by reading a quote from her website to give you a little introduction to her. Wives, mothers, and career women, we have all fallen victim to the silent epidemic that is literally letting ourselves go. Not the makeup free yoga pants, weight gain routine. Little by little, we have allowed our preferences, interests, and individuality to slip away until we no longer recognize ourselves outside of our role as wives, mothers, or professionals. Who we are has become what we do. In the process, our friendships have become the casualty of a busy life and lack of consistency and depth. We were not created to go alone. In a world of social media, virtual offices, fitness apps, and online dating, we are detached and longing for connection. We have a gaping hole inside of us that longs to be filled. How do we reclaim who we really are and fill this empty space that seems to appear from nowhere? Well, my guest, Brenda Ridgely, is going to answer this crucial question for us. She's the author of Lady in the Tribe: How to Create Empowering Friendship Circles, as well as the podcast host for Lady in the Tribe. And it's my pleasure to share my conversation with her. Brenda, welcome to the podcast.
Katie, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about our conversation today.
Me too. I am very excited to talk about just women's circles and friendship and how to go about finding them. So why don't you just introduce yourself? You are a midlife woman's personal growth coach. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, that isn't it cool we can kind of create our own niche these days
Yes.
because
Yes.
through my own life's experience and lots of studying and just research, I found that women are kind of going through life feeling really disconnected at this stage in the middle of our lives. Because we've kind of let go of things, let go of ourselves, and I don't mean the weight gain and the
My
yoga pants
hair, my
and
makeup. Yeah.
which I totally did all those things, but what we let go of ourselves a little over time because we let go of our interests, activities, and friendships. So we find ourselves really all doing the same thing, but we feel so isolated. So, through my own story, and maybe I'll get to share that here in a little bit, I just discovered that I was lonely. I was in this midlife funk in my life, and I didn't know why because I'd done it all and had it all, and I have it all. I have a
Hmm.
healthy, happy family, a beautiful home, a wonderful, loving husband, a couple snuggle pups, just things looked good from the outside looking in, but I felt really this discontent in my gut that I couldn't name for several years.
Hmm.
And that led me to ask the universe for answers, pray a lot, and finally just do some really down and dirty studying of my condition, which came down to it was loneliness. Because
Oh,
I wasn't socially isolated because I was surrounded by people 24/7, but no one really knew me anymore because everything had become so superficial. Social media has this wonderful way of
yes.
keeping us connected, but it also keeps us at the surface level. And
That's
that's where
right.
I was
Like,
existing.
yeah, I feel like I know a lot about all these people, but I haven't actually seen them. Like someone's like, "Oh, do you remember so and so from high school?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, she has 3 kids." Da, da, da. But I'm like, I haven't actually talked to her or like seen her. If I saw her in person, I'd probably be like, "Oh my God, like I know you," but I don't,
I
oh
know.
my gosh, yes.
It gives you this false sense of knowing people, but at the same time, you only know the good. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like we're out there bragging about our fears, our insecurities. I mean, some do, but we're not bragging about our failures or, what is keeping us up at night.
Right.
And I was at a point in my life about, 6 or 7 years ago where I just didn't know where I fit in. I didn't know who my tribe was. Of course, I had friends, but I had let go of the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
The friendship is that moving, the action part where you actually see people have one-on-one conversations, know each other's life, confide in them, be vulnerable,
Yeah.
that was all missing. So
Right.
it led me to write my book, Lady in the Tribe, How to Create Empowering Friendship Circles. And that in effect, I just heard from so many women who were like, that's me, you described my life. And oh, how do I get back on track? And so I knew that there was a need out there and people, women in particular, really wanted to reconnect to find themselves again.
Absolutely. For me, it hit when I had kids. That's when that like loneliness. I mean, you're right. You're surrounded by people all day, but I just wasn't feeling like my husband was at work. I've got kids at home. I felt so lonely. And I
Mhm.
did try to make friends, but it was so much work with little kids and not everyone like I didn't click with everyone. So then you're kind of feeling like it's just me at home. And yeah. I know on your website you talked a little bit about how women by nature are such givers. Like
Yeah.
we give to our kids, to our spouse, to others. And in doing that, we kind of lose ourselves and our friendships. Why do you think we're like this? Like, why? How does that happen?
Yeah, no one asks us to do it. I mean, maybe a little, but because, well, I think especially when we become, I mean, okay, let's say for career women really want to do, not to have any excuses and go for it. And we're taught to work like a man in a way
Mhm.
and kind of go to the man's world. And so that they get their tunnel vision on. When we get in the career path, we get that tunnel vision on. But when you become a mother, I don't know about you, but I literally walked out of that hospital a different person. People tell
Yeah.
you your life is going to change, but
Yeah.
um, I had even a little bit of a traumatic birth experience that made me like, my purpose in life is to raise this boy to
Hmm.
become something and be a giver and be a good
Yes.
person. And
It's not
that
me
was
anymore.
it. That
Hmm.
was it. And so I put all of my energy into, him and then my daughter into their things, my, happy hours and lunches with friends became play dates with their
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And
Each
you
at
just
the
hope that
baseball field. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My sports and activities I became the soccer mom and the carpool and the shuttle and
Mhm.
on the sidelines. And my interests and things like art and writing and all that became let's find out what the kids are good at. And you just focus everything. I mean, even your entertainment budget gets poured into the kids because their stuff is so expensive, right?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, nobody asks us to do it, but I think we just want it might be a generational thing that this generation just was pouring everything into their kids
Mm.
to a fault sometimes to a point where like my kids, my son, when he was going to college, he was just like, Mom, I'm worried about you. How
Oh,
are you gonna do when I leave?
yeah.
And I'm like,
But
oh
that's
my
a great
gosh,
question. Like,
that's crushing, right?
yeah.
Because of course you don't want them to worry about you.
Right.
And what kind of example was that I'd set that he would think that I would be, which kind of happened a little bit, to be honest, until I really figured things out.
Yeah. That's such a
So
huge transition. Giving
yeah,
everything, everything. And it is like, it's just like innate. Like as women, we just need to give and take care. But you're right, when
right,
they leave,
right. So why do we do it? Yeah, I think it is innate. I think we are naturally compassionate, win-win solutions. Versus competing, we collaborate. So all these things, and we don't like to say no a
yeah.
lot of
Nope,
times.
I don't.
We have to learn how to the full sentence, no, and be okay, let it just sit there and not have to explain away why our answer is no. So we
Mhm.
don't like to say no, so we, just keep on adding to our list and something's got to give, and it's us.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of what happens, right? My youngest just started full day. He's in TK, so just like the year before kindergarten. And this is the first time in 10 years that I feel like, oh my God, I can kind of like do things for me. Like yesterday, I worked out in the middle of the day instead of 5 in the morning. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, am I sort of getting my life back together? Like, my friends and I are trying to get a book club up and going. I'm like, I
Mhm.
can do it on Fridays. I can. Like before it was
Yeah,
like, nope, he has to be picked up from preschool at 11:30. I can't do that. And it's just like this different feeling of like, okay, maybe it's time to start building my tribe again. Cause I feel like I've kind of lost it. I had friends before having kids, and then you have like your friends with kids, but the kids are involved in all of that. So now
right.
it's like it's transitioning to a new phase of friendship again.
Yeah, well, so I want to caution you just a little bit because I remember that as well. But it's going to hit you again when you need to start driving these kids all over for their stuff.
And you're
So,
a chauffeur.
yeah, and you're a chauffeur and an activities coordinator and all this stuff. And when they are in full-fledged in club sports and all these things,
Mm,
that I'm not saying that it needs to change, but if you aren't mindful of it, it
it
will.
can.
I want to tell your listeners as a cautionary tale to keep yourself on your list. No matter what, keep something for yourself. A couple, I'd say at least two girlfriends that, you are living life alongside that you are able to share your heart with.
Hmm.
And, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Right, right.
Because that is where you really feel seen, heard, and know where you belong. And they're that place for you to vent, to fall when you fail, to people who will cheer for you when you are going for it.
Hmm.
And we need that. We need
Yes.
that. Don't need to just always sit on the sidelines and be the cheerleader.
Right, right. It takes a toll. It does.
Yeah.
I have always said that I wish we lived in like a Native American tribe. When I was
Mhm.
little, I used to say, I wish my whole family lived on the same block and we could all just be together all the time. Why do you think in today's world, like this is totally far-fetched? Like it just seems so like lovely to like make dinner with other families and like
Yeah.
come together. Why do we not have that anymore?
Yeah, well, the Native Americans had it right, and I don't know if we ever really did. I just don't know that our culture ever lived like that, but I think it's a
Mhm.
great model. And and not only with raising our children together as a tribe, but honoring our elderly as a tribe as well,
Mhm.
instead of
Yeah.
we do not give our elderly enough respect. And hey, you know what? We're aging every day.
I know.
We need to
Yeah,
be the change we want to see. I'm
that's
just saying.
right. Right. I need my boys to come back when they leave.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so your book, you talk about finding, nurturing, and building your own tribe. So let's talk about
Yes.
each of those parts. Like
Okay.
finding your tribe as adults. How do we do that? Like I have my like core group, just a handful of friends that I've known before baby, and we've maintained our friendship. But how do you go about finding them if you don't have those
Yeah.
special people?
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. I think that every person needs to have 2 to 5 besties. And not everybody in the world is going to be your bestie. And
Right.
there's a whole scale of your friendship of how you fit on the friendship. In fact, I put a friendship target and kind of described kind of relationally how all these people fit into your community. But if first of all, if you are struggling and you don't feel like you have anyone close anymore, I would start with maybe people that you kind of had let go of. Maybe you are still slightly connected, maybe via social media, or they're still in the same town. You want to look for
Mhm.
people in your vicinity to be part of your tribe, because that's the thing about the Native Americans. The tribe was very much about where they were. They were
Mhm.
together, right?
Yeah.
And not that you can't have great best friends across country, because absolutely, those are who I call my soul sisters,
Mm.
because they know you. You can pick up right where you left off when you just never lose that. But your tribe is your local group. And so reach out to a few people and say, you know what, we've been just life's been crazy. The last 3 Christmas parties, we said, let's get together, and we have never gotten
Yeah.
together, right? We're
Yep.
all like, yeah,
Yep.
let's do that, right? Get that calendar out. So I miss you. I need to see you. Can we have lunch?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like, absolutely, let's
And
get our
they
calendar
probably
out.
feel
Let's
the
do
same
this.
way.
They
Yeah.
feel the same way and just hadn't, they think you're too busy to ask, that it's just this double-edged sword.
Hmm.
So reach out to a couple of those first, and reconnect and just tell them, how you're feeling and how you want to like stay connected in a more meaningful way and what that looks like, what kind of you need, and find out what they need in support, a tribe of support. But beyond that, if you don't have anybody, at this point on your list, you got to get out of the house.
Step one. Yeah.
Step one.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to find friends binge watching Hulu or anything like that. Okay.
Mhm.
You need to get out of the house. And I know at the end of the day, when you're tired and it's been crazy and you've had to take care of the whole family and you don't even have any, it's really hard to just not sit over there, go to that couch.
Right.
Just
Right.
go,
It's just making an effort to put yourself out there.
get yourself
That's
out
I
there.
have our school is doing like a parent craft night. Like moms are getting together to do a little craft. And I like our school is really starting to promote like community this year. It's kind of been not so much since COVID. And this year it's like, okay, we want to start putting together events. And I remember thinking, it's on a Tuesday night. This is one of the only nights we don't have football practice. Like, oh, I'll be so tired. But I signed up. And I'm
Good
like
for you.
kind of nervous because I'm like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to know anyone. But it was one of those like, I need to get to know the moms at the school because that's who's going to be like around me the most. My kids are going to be
Yeah,
there for a
yeah,
good amount of time still. So
yeah.
I'm a little
They're-
nervous still to go,
yeah,
but I'm like, let's just do it. Let's just
yeah.
show up.
So those relationships that are going to be kind of running a pack with you for a while, those are
Mhm.
kind of what I call the friendlies. And they're really fun friendships but they are really kind of based on circumstance and convenience.
Mhm.
So my tip for you and that tribe of women is
Okay.
to, if there's some that you really connect with, take them to another location to have a one-on-one.
Oh,
Don't always just do things, at the ball
in the
field
group.
and da, 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 da. If there's someone you really click with, let's go have lunch. Let's do happy hour. Let's do something. Go for a walk. Go for a hike, because you need that. That tells them that you are interested in friendship, not just convenience.
Yeah.
And then you're building something outside, because when that pack of kids spreads out to different high schools, junior highs,
Right.
whatever, college, this is what happened to me. I, ran with these women for, 8 years. And then all of a sudden the kids were out and I was like, what happened? I thought we had more. But it
Oh,
wasn't anything personal. It was just like everybody was doing their own thing, and no one had really made any real connections
connection.
were like that stood the test of time.
Right. And it
So
is very easy. I think I learned this during COVID. When you don't make an effort to stay in touch with people, it's very easy to just let it go.
so easy. So
Yeah.
if you're really don't have a friend group and you want to find friends, get out of the house, maybe explore some of your interests, some of the things that you kind of have let go of over the years. Maybe what did you used to do, BC, before children, before career, all those things.
Yep.
What have you not done in a long time? Is it, hiking or biking or art of some sort? Find a group locally that does that and start showing up. The first time you go, the rule is go 3 times. The first time
Okay.
you go, it could be kind of awkward and
Yep.
stuff, because you're on a mission, you're looking for people, and you're all going to be nervous about talking to people. But you go a second time, it gets a little more, okay, I recognize that person. The third time you are in the group, and you start, hey, first started doing pottery when I was in, junior high. Tell me. And you just ask a question and let them share. That's the a fast track to friendship, is to ask a question and then listen, because there's not a lot of great listeners out there. And that's going to be like, I like this person because she actually listens to me. Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then, after that for a bit, invite them to have coffee again, take them to another location to get them into the groove of, we don't just meet here, we also meet here.
I love
And
that idea.
and you start building those friendships that way.
That's nice. What about introverts versus extroverts? If you're an introvert, this probably sounds like torture, right? I mean, I'm an extrovert. I just need to be around people, but do introverts feel like I'm fine? I don't need these friendships,
Mhm.
or is it a little bit harder to do this?
I think they do need these friendships. And I would call an ambivert. I'm right on the cusp.
Okay.
I'm on the introverted side, to be honest, in my my friends can't believe it because I'm always the one that's making things happen and doing things. And I can get up and speak in front of thousands of people and everything. But then to restore my energy, I need my solitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really the difference there. They still need the connection and they still can thrive on it. It may need to be a little more of an uncomfortable out of their comfort zone than an
Mhm.
extrovert. An
Yeah.
extrovert's naturally going to be going out and doing things maybe, whereas an introvert is very comfortable just being by themselves. So they will just have to make a decision of what they want and a plan of how to do it and then implement that plan. And yeah, it's scary for everybody at first, even
Mhm.
extroverts. When you go into a new group of people, and do you go in and go, bye? Or do you go, okay, check it out. Who are these
Yep. Do
people?
I know anyone?
Do
Let's
I fit in? Yeah, it's like, so who
How
who
quick
looks
can I
safe?
sneak out of here?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, absolutely. I get that question a lot. But introverts absolutely need this connection and they want it. I can say
Yeah.
I did. And but they may have to go out, they just have to have a strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what I love helping with women is that let's create your strategy to get, you know,
How you're
your
going to do it.
2 to 5 tribe of support.
Love it. So we talked a little bit about nurturing, like finding people and take them outside. But else, any other strategies for how we do this as busy moms and
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would use social media and texting as a drip system. Hey, I'm thinking of you. Wasn't this
Mm.
funny? Da, da, da. You remember that? Those kinds of things. But don't exist on social media. I think picking up the phone on a regular basis and
Which is so
hearing those
rare now.
voices.
The
I
phone rings
know.
and you're like,
We're
who
like,
is
oh,
calling? I
Katie's
have to
calling.
talk.
What is wrong? What
Yeah.
must be wrong? I better answer it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I always say just book a connection from a connection. You know, have a monthly face-to-face with your besties. A month, once a month, is that really too much to ask? Does that really take too much time for a person in your life that is going to be there for you throughout life? I mean, it's you enjoy it when you're there. We
Right.
just let it go. We just let it go.
Hmm.
So book one time to meet together, just one-on-one, because a tribe is really a group of individual connections to you. You have your tribe, which is different than your best friend's tribe and another best friend's tribe. You may have common friends, but
Overlapping. Yeah.
overlapping, but the tribe is individual relationships. I also like to have one social event a month where people pop in for like a happy hour, 2 hours. We rotate houses. So one person doesn't have to do everything, and you show up with a bottle of wine and an appetizer to share. And it's a midweek, a Thursday evening, 5:30 to 7:30, strict end time because everybody needs to go do their things, but
Yep.
time, if you can make it, great. If you can't, you don't,
There's
no
another one next month.
strings. It's not bunko. You don't have to fill your seat, nothing like that. Just come and visit and check in and get together. So those get together every month with one-on-one, get together as a group once a month if you can, and then just drip on each other with love and connection with phone calls and texts and social media. That's how I
Yeah.
would nurture. And of course, remember the things and be there for them. Birthdays, when they're going through something tough, showing up as a support person. And then when you need support, being vulnerable enough to ask for it, for the help.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Building our own tribes. I know you touched on it a little bit, but any other tips for building a tribe?
Yeah, so it sounds like it's this group of women who go out clubbing or something, and it's not at all. So when you think about your tribe and how you want to build it, what are the areas of life that you want to expand? What are some interests that you've let go of? What would you like to learn new? What are some habits you'd like to instill that you need support on? Maybe you need an exercise buddy. Maybe you need a wise advisor that's been just a little ahead of you on this track that you can bounce ideas off of. Maybe you just need this fun fangirl friend that will do whatever you want, that's
Mhm.
with you. I'm
Yeah.
in. You plan it, I'm in. That kind of thing. So you feel, where maybe it's a hiking friend, I love to hike and I didn't do it for years. because my husband was like, oh, I run, and that's hiking's not even exercise. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Okay, whatever.
totally is.
So I found, a hiking friend. And so where do you want to expand? That's how you build it. And you establish, hey, you're my girl for hiking. Let's do this. Let's put some goals. Do we want to hike Long's Peak this year? Oh my gosh, really? Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that is where you want to grow and expand, or what kind of support you need. That's how you can kind of create them ahead of time if you don't know who they are. Write out, this person will do this for me and support me in this way, and I will support them in this way. And they live in the neighborhood, and and we get together on Fridays for a cup of tea. And you just kind of design it, and you put it out there, and the universe will
Mm,
start bringing it towards you,
new
and you'll
people.
recognize her when you see her, when you
Yes.
create her
And
beforehand.
you're open to it. You're
Yeah,
open and no, that's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your book and the motivation behind it.
Yeah, yeah. So the book is called Lady in the Tribe: How to Create Empowering Friendship Circles. And it's been just 3 years this month that I published it. And it actually absolutely changed my life. It is about, I say it's about the woman and her journey through the roles in her life,
Mm,
and how those roles often lead us to let ourselves go or give things away, and how to come back from that and be whole again, because we're all whole. I mean, we are whole, but we put these layers of roles and life on top of our values and interests and our true self, so that we don't even know who we are anymore. We need to peel those layers back
yeah.
and discover ourselves again, and do that because our friendships are really a reflection of who we are. That's how we see ourselves in the world. And if we don't feel like we have that, then something big's missing. So how to do that through connection. So the book itself is kind of like a blueprint. I tell my own story and the stories of other women that I interviewed, that went through, different kinds of losing themselves.
Hmm.
And but the book provides a blueprint of how to, step by step, kind of to get back on track and build your tribe of support.
Mm,
So I was inspired by my journey, and then the book then has such kind of inspired me to build retreats around it and a coaching program around it. And I host right now 3 to 4 women's retreats a year.
oh, cool. All in Colorado where you are? Or?
Breckenridge, Colorado. We've got 2 coming up in Breckenridge. We just got back from Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's a week long. Our Breckenridge retreats are 3 nights, 4 days, and if you've ever never been there, it
Yeah, it's
is
gorgeous.
a
It's gorgeous.
beautiful, beautiful place. And we have basically a mansion up there that
Wow.
hosts us, and it's an incredible spot, and we do some amazing things up there. It is a retreat that's not just yoga and relaxation. Of course, we have all that, but it's about personal growth. We have workshops throughout the weekend to get you focused on who you are, what you want to do in this life, and get you moving forward again.
Mm.
You've
And
gotten stuck.
do you get mostly women from like all over that don't know each
Yeah.
other or like
Yeah.
groups that are already? Oh, wow.
Most people come by themselves. Our Costa Rica trip was 7 days, and we had Florida, New York, California, the Midwest, people from all over. I have had people come to Breckenridge from Canada. That's as far out of from the United States we've gotten so far.
Mhm.
But yeah, from all over the place, people come to gather. I think they like a little bit of anonymity going through this growth
Yeah,
process.
I could see
It
that.
makes them feel just a little, and they're surrounded by a group of women who are also on that path.
Yeah.
And so it's a really easy place, no
Gorgeous.
judgment zone, to be open and free and express yourself, which many haven't done in a long time. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Did you
So that,
ever like go back 20 years, 10 years? Did you ever think you'd be doing this?
oh, no way. I mean, this is so far from, I mean, I have a master's degree in organizational development and training. So I do
That
have
lent itself well.
a
Yeah.
coaching type of,
Hmm.
professional training, but most of what I do is based on life experience,
Yeah.
and it is the best thing I've ever done.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It just
And
gets
you
better
can
and better,
do
Kate.
that midlife. You don't have
Oh,
to,
yeah.
I'm 20 and this is my college degree,
Mhm.
so that's what I'm doing until I retire. Like you can
Yes.
change things.
Yeah. I was, 50 when I
Yeah.
changed direction completely. And
Yeah.
whoa, it's been great.
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, and then your podcast, Find Your Lady Tribe.
Find your lady tribe. Yes, we have.
What do you have on your podcast and when can we listen to it?
Yes, so I'm currently in off season. I have 2 seasons a year. And it's funny because I was just popping through, looking at YouTube the other day because I post them all on YouTube as well. Such a transformation from day one podcast, which it originally was called the Connection Connoisseur, because
Mhm.
that's what my girlfriends used to call me. But nobody can spell connoisseur,
Oh,
so it's hard to
that
find.
is a yeah. In terms of branding and marketing, that is a really
Yeah.
good thing to think about.
Yeah, so, but anyway, it's evolved. In the beginning, first episodes were a lot about friendship and building a tribe and being a good friend. I mean, you have to be one to have one, right?
Yeah.
And all these things and why it's important and why it's missing. And then it went on to interviewing other, thought leaders. And I have a couple co-hosts in seasons. The last season was on longevity. So different strategies for health and wellness in midlife to tackle longevity. And the next season is going to be on relationships. So, just a little
Wow.
bit of everything that we have so much on our plate as women in general.
Yeah.
And so there's lots to talk about.
Of course, it never
But
ends, right?
yeah, from the midlife perspective, I'm actually writing my next book right now, and it's called Living Whole You: Ignite Your Life's Purpose and Save the World.
Oh,
I
wow.
feel like truly once women are at this point in their life when they maybe have launched their first purpose, which raising a family, whatever,
Mhm.
and they're looking for their next one and they're trying to figure it out, that really inside them is, or there's something, that a gift that was given you that only you have and only you have to share with the world. And with those gifts, we can change the world and save the world. So
Mm.
that's what it's all about. It's kind of close to my heart right now.
Oh, that's awesome. When does your next season come out?
Next season will come out probably in November.
Okay.
Yeah,
We will be looking for that. I cannot wait to
great.
listen to that season. And I'm really excited about your new book. That definitely sparks something in me.
Thank
Love
you,
that.
Katie.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love talking about friendship and just it is hard to make friends, but there's a way and it's very important.
Yes, it's not impossible. It's absolutely doable. It just takes a decision, intention, and action, and one step at a time.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie.
Okay, ladies, go out and find those 2 to 5 friends, meet up for coffee, put yourself out there because it is so true. We as women and moms, we need to have a connection. It is so hard to be with our children all the time and not have a reprieve from these little people. I know for a fact when I see my friends, when I connect with others, I feel like my cup is filled. So be on a mission, find some friends if you don't have some already. If you do have good friends, thank the Lord for them and make sure you stay in touch. So until next week, I want to remind everyone that everyone burns their first pancake, so just keep flipping.